Yo, what is up, everybody? It is your host, Jay the Great, and welcome back to another combat sports related video here today. And today, I will be doing a pre-fight analysis of UFC 254's main event of the evening, Khabib, the Eagle, Nurmagomedov versus Justin Gaethje. Now, guys, this is one of the fights I personally have been looking very forward to, and I'm sure all you combat sports fans as well are highly excited for this fight. And this fight is very interesting to me, because I think there's just a couple questions that we really can't answer until the day of the fight. So let's get straight to the analysis here. And let me start out by talking about the contender himself, Justin Gaethje. Now, the last time we saw him in the octagon was a couple months ago against Tony Ferguson, when he systematically annihilated the man. I haven't seen an ass whooping like that in a long time, and I've never seen Tony be beat like that ever in his career. What really impressed me, besides his beautiful display of striking, was his no second guessing, quick decision making. After the round where he got dropped by Tony, which was a nice shot by Tony, I think it was an uppercut to the chin at the end of the bell of round 1 or 2, he really stuck to the game plan, never second guessed his decisions, and never really had any second thoughts, when he was in there. I just saw a guy that was so confident, that had 100% confidence in himself. And that's why he continuously beat Tony to the punch, because he wasn't even trying to feint or nothing. He just thought to himself, I'm the better man here. I'm the better striker. I'm the better fighter. And he really imposed his will on Tony on the feet. And Tony, just with his style and his, mind games that he likes to play, he wasted a lot of movement, I think. And I think that's why a big reason why he took so much punishment in that fight. And by the time he tried anything else, it was, too little too late. He was already beaten up, too damaged, too tired to do really anything against Justin. Justin, besides just striking, like I said, his belief in himself and the confidence he has in his abilities and his coaches, man, is crazy. It's spectacular. I mean, he was literally adjusting mid-fight, listening to his coaches, and it was working against Tony Ferguson. All right. Now, that's something, man. This guy is very malleable. He's learning. I'm sure he's learned even more after that fight. Honestly, I think he's going to be even better than the Tony fight. I think this guy just absorbs information. And he's a very humble guy. He's very confident in his abilities and his coaches, but he's very humble at the same time. He's willing and actually wants to learn more and adapt and evolve. And he has evolved over several fights. He took 2 losses in a row to Eddie and Dustin, and ever since then, Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier, and ever since then, this guy's been a different fighter, evolving, constantly evolving, evolving every fight. And now the big question here, which we all have, and I'm sure you guys have as well, is Justin's grappling. Because if we look at his stats in the UFC, his grappling stats are basically non-existent because he doesn't grapple. He never grapples. It seems like he does. It seems like he doesn't think he has a need to grapple. He's so confident in his striking, even though he was a Division I collegiate All-American. So he has the skills, but the question is, does he have the skills to withstand the onslaught that is Khabib Nurmagomedov? That's the question, which we won't know until the day of. That's probably the biggest question that we can't answer until that day. If Justin can at least withstand and defend most of those takedowns that Khabib will attempt, because it's inevitable, I believe we have a fight on our hands. Because it's clear Justin is a better striker, is more sophisticated as a striker, and has legitimate one-punch knockout power. Now, don't really look at the Tony Ferguson fight for that power, because Tony is made out of metal, man. That guy took shots that has dropped almost every other guy that Justin has fought. Tony's just made out of fucking steel. I don't know what that guy's made out of, but don't really use that as evidence of Justin's power. But Justin has significant power, which Khabib has to be aware of and has to look out for, because it can be a deciding factor in who wins this fight. That's for damn sure. So I think we can all agree that Justin has superior striking and a clear power advantage. Now, going to the champion, Khabib Nurmagomedov, this guy's undefeated, clearly, like we all know. and has just put on a display of utter dominance throughout his career. He's only been in some sticky situations a couple times, like when Michael Johnson cracked him, and when Conor was giving him, some work, and I believe it was round 3. And that wasn't even really sticky. That was just a round that he lost, in my opinion. Khabib is the greatest lightweight of all time, greatest grappler I've ever seen, and I believe universally regarded as the best grappler ever in mixed martial arts history. And I believe he's going to do the same thing he's always done. He's going to try to impose his will with his world-class grappling. Like Joe Rogan said, this guy's grappling, as far as we know, is not just one notch above the rest of the competition. It's several. He's light years ahead, of the competition as far as we know up to this point. I think he's going to attempt the same thing, and he's going to just try to grind it out like he always does against Justin. Like Justin, he has supreme confidence in his abilities, and his belief is pure. He has the utmost confidence in his abilities and really believes he's the best on the planet. So we got two men with the utmost confidence in themselves and their coaches, and I believe very driven men. Now, Khabib lost his father. Rest in peace to his father. That's a damn shame. But I believe, like Ariel Helwani said, I don't know if you guys watch Ariel Helwani in DC. He said that he sees a different Khabib, an even more driven one that wants to win this in honor of his father, who's obviously a man he had the utmost respect and love for and admiration. And I believe Khabib's even more driven here than he was in the Conor fight. What was the difference is, in the Conor fight, he had deep-rooted dislike and disdain for Conor with all the things that he said, going over the line, in my opinion, with some of the things he said. And really laying it all out there in that fight. That's a driven Khabib, the most driven I've seen besides this one now. You can even tell he put some real emphasis on those punches when he was ending that fight. You could see it clear as day. He even had deep-rooted anger after the fight. That's a driven Khabib. Now, this is a different driven Khabib. He has no animosity towards Justin, in my opinion. He has a sense of duty. He always has, but I think this one's more, it's more deep because, he lost his father and he wants to respect his honor and win for his father, a man that I'm sure pushed him every step of the way, that was with him every step of the way. I believe he was there at most, if not all, his fights. And motivated Khabib is a dangerous Khabib. We saw that against Conor. So I believe that's something we have to, put some kind of significance on. And I believe he's going to impose his will at another level that we haven't seen, even more so than the Conor fight. Now, to sum up the keys to victory, starting with Justin here. For Justin, I believe he's going to have the same mindset and same kind of confidence and belief in himself and his coaches that he had against Tony Ferguson. I think he's going to have to be quick and concise and clear with his decisions as the fight goes along, not second-guess himself, because even 1 second too late, if Khabib grabs him, it might be game over. As far as we know, because we don't know Justin's ability to wrestle, at least in the UFC, because he hasn't done it at all. So we must assume that for now. And I believe he's going to have to, like I said, he's going to have to be calculated with his decisions as well. Take good decisions and don't second guess his decisions. I think that's the keys to victory for him. And use what he does best as far as we know, which is his striking ability. Use his power to his advantage. Use his great leg kicks to throw off Khabib's, possible takedown attempts. And with all his will, he must use his takedown defense to the best of his ability, because inevitably Khabib will put that onslaught and impose his will on Justin. It's going to happen. He's going to try it. It's inevitable. There is no doubt about that. Now for Khabib here, all right. Khabib, I think, is going to have to be, as well, like Justin, calculated in his approach. He doesn't want to get caught with something that he shouldn't be caught with. I mean, maybe going, shooting, which just means, for y'all that don't know, attempting a takedown. Maybe shooting. Maybe he goes for a double or something and gets cracked. He doesn't want that to happen. He's going to have to be aware of that. He's going to have to be calculated in his approach, because Justin does have that one strike knockout power. He's going to have to bring Justin to his world, like he has against everybody else. That's always part of his game plan. Bring his opponent to his world and keep him there. Tie up those legs, put the legs in between his legs, and just go to work, ground and pound, and maybe possible submission. Also, and I think this is very important for Khabib especially, break Justin, not just physically, but mentally. If he can break Justin, break his confidence that he has in himself, I think that's checkmate. Cause Justin to doubt and second guess himself. That's game, I think, as a matter of fact, if either of these guys does that to the other, it's game. Now, that's going to be a very tall task for both men because, like I said earlier, these guys have the utmost confidence in themselves and their coaches. And they really don't second guess themselves if we go out based off the last, most current versions that we've seen of them in the octagon. They don't second guess. They just go for it. They have the utmost confidence that it will work, and most of the time it does. That's why they're the best on the planet right now. But yeah, those are my keys to victory, guys. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the end of my pre-fight analysis of UFC 254's main event of the evening. I hope you guys enjoyed, man. Time does go into these, so I greatly appreciate it if you hit that like button, turn on bell notifications to stay up to date with me, and most importantly, if you're new, please hit that sub button to become part of the family, because once you do, you're part of it forever. And feel free to comment down below what you think. Maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe you could agree with me completely, or maybe you just want to say something random. I don't care. I love interacting with you guys. I love seeing what you guys have to say. But that's going to wrap it up, guys. I love you all, and I'll catch you in the next video. This is Jay the Great signing out. Peace.